Feelings. So today I went to the therapist and we talked about feelings. You know, it is hard to just express your feelings. And where I come from, with the Asian roots, um, it wasn't a part of our education and upbringing. Whenever we had something going on, and we'll just, I wasn't, so I go from we to I, because I wanted to talk about my sister when she was saying, "Oh, grandma, about this or that," and grandma would say, just put it aside, just be a big sister to your siblings and do this or do that. So she addressed it already. And me, I was just, I didn't talk about it. And that was the default, or not even default, because everyone does it his or her own way. That's what the therapist told me. So I was like, when I was talking to her, I was like, oh my God, 23 years of marriage. If I come home, I'll give my husband a hug and tell him sorry what I've been putting you through. And she goes like, no, you're not supposed to look backwards. Just concentrate on the now, the present, and the future. Because I have a hard time expressing myself. What I thought was earlier my protection is like, I have the shield around me and I only want positive aura, and whenever negativity enters it, then it just goes back to the person. She says, maybe that's just something that you don't want to address. Maybe that's just something that'll harm you even more, that can harm you even more. Because by not allowing those feelings, it'll add up and add up and add up. And at one point, it'll just be too much to handle. So I was thinking while sitting there and talking to her, thinking of maybe she's right or she might be right. And I told her about the progress, because I always talk in the sense of, oh, you did this or you did that, or especially with my children, why didn't you do this or why didn't you do that? Try to talk in the first person. I have the feeling that this, I don't like what you're doing, I don't this and I don't that. There's nothing wrong with saying that, because the kids or my husband or whoever cannot say, hey, I disagree, because it's my feeling, and they cannot disagree with that. So as I was sitting there, I was thinking of lots and lots of things. How I have to start to communicate in a different way, to communicate differently, as doing things for the first time again. Because everything that I have been taught is like not talking about the feelings, let alone expressing the feelings. And so I suppressed it. And now I have to talk about it. That's step number 2. But the first one is I have to accept them. I have to allow them in my system. I have to say, hey, that is a feeling and it's okay to feel it. And not just, put it in a corner or suppress it, or denying the existence of it. So yeah, I cried and there's nothing wrong with that, because prior to this whole midlife thing, I thought, yeah, crying is a form of weakness. and you should not admit to it. And how foolish of me, because it really, you know, it's a relief. You could say, yeah, I've been trying to do this or that. So I had to give her an example. So I gave her an example of last weekend, how, you know, how things went. We had a barbecue, and I mean, my husband preferred to have it at one place, all the dishes, everything. And I was like, hey, I have a second dishwasher. I'll just put it over there. And then, you know, in the meantime, both of them can just, you know, help me out with the dishes. Well, do the dishes. And he disagreed. So at one point he wanted to talk about that. And I was like, oh, it's getting too crazy, too wild, too crowded in my mind, in my head. So, you know, I'll just put it aside. And I didn't want to talk to him about it. And he's like, why do you always avoid the discussion we have? It's not even a big discussion, but I feel the heat, I feel the tense, I feel the pressure it brings. So I immediately, before doing anything, I just push it away. And that's not the way I have to handle things. Or at least maybe that is not the perfect way, because now I encounter all these feelings I cannot understand and whatever. So yeah, going back to what I said before, feelings, so sexy, so firm, so clear, and yet with so much depth, so much history, so much, so meaningful. It looks simple, but it can be very hard to understand, very hard to comprehend, very hard to feel, and very hard to express. At least that's what I encountered, and that is how I felt or still feel. It's not just from one day to the other that you can just let go of the things you were used to do, and now are learning, because I do want it, and learning to do it differently. And why do I want to learn? It's because before that it was just my husband and me, and he's an adult, I'm an adult, so we could just, you know, whenever I don't want to talk about it or avoid discussions, we could just let it be. But now I do have two children. One is not that emotional. My son is 14, but my daughter 11, oh my god, she needs to talk. She wants to, you know, get into it, talking about it, reasoning about it. It's like a philosopher. It's like, I mean, everything she talks about. I mean, sometimes if I listen to my therapist, I think it just can be my daughter, because she sees it from different angles, different perspectives. And I need to just be able to understand her and not let her become me, because now I'm a woman of 50 and realizing I did not do the right thing with my feelings. Otherwise I would not be in this mess. So yeah. And when I told her, yeah, I need to work on my skills with my daughter and my husband, and she's like, ho, work with yourself first. Try to understand things. Try to tell yourself, okay, what is it, what I'm feeling? And sometimes I don't even know what I'm feeling. And that is what she's been saying. Maybe that is because I had this armor around me, and not wanting the I just called it negativity before that, but it's just situations, feelings, not wanting it to enter. But it is entering. It is like water, you know. Whenever you stop it, and there's somewhere a gap or a hole, it will come. And that is what's been bothering me now. I think it is coming in my system, and me not acknowledging it makes it even worse, because it's been going on and on and on all these years. So I don't want her to have the same feeling I have now. That's one. But two, I do want to talk to her more often and understand her. And for me, it is better as well, because the last time I was saying something and my husband said, well, I could have told you that. And it felt so weird. So I said, honey, I don't think I like that. Because one, I've been reading books to get into that conclusion. So for me, it's a big deal. And whenever you say, well, I could have told you that, it's like, oof, you just, put it aside as if it's not important. But it is important to me. So I know you already know that, but I didn't. Or, yeah, you have told me that, but I haven't felt it, because it is, for some people, it's not the time yet to understand or to feel certain things. So I try to express myself now. And sometimes by letting myself or feel these emotions and trying to express these emotions / feelings, there are a couple of doors opening. And because there are lots of doors being opened, whether it's wide open or just a bit, it's too blurry for me as well. Then it looks like there's a lot to handle at one point, and then I get very, not frustrated, but very, it's not clear anymore for me. And then I go like, oh, please, no. So what she's saying is, don't try to change a lot just now. And I'm seeing her in August again, because one, she doesn't have time, and two, she wants me to practice what I would like to change in my life, to just try to express myself differently. And that's what I'm going to do now. And it's been an eye-opener. So yeah, feelings, it has another meaning, a definition for me now. It's not that I don't feel, because I am a very emotional person. You can see it on my face. If I'm happy, you can see me smiling all over from ear to ear. And when I'm sad, I cannot pretend. You can see it on my face that there's something, like a heavy curtain coming down. And it is very new and scary as well, because to try to behave differently, it's not your behavior, but act differently, is challenging, but I'm willing to take that chance. So it is okay to have these feelings. It's just very challenging, like I said before. Or maybe I'll come up with different point of views. Or maybe you can help me out by pointing out some stuff, some points, some trigger points. And I'm glad I'm willing to work on it, because before this I wasn't ready for it. So that's a whole lot. If your system, if your inner body, if your inner soul is not ready for it, you can try whatever you want. It won't succeed. And now, I think I need to find peace and quietness as well, and not jump and go from one stage to the other. I tend to talk very fast as well. And I have been learning to just talk more quiet, slower, and yeah, that was one. And the other one is because I learned it from my mother. She's Chinese, half Chinese, so everything she does is like tick, 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 tick. Okay, it's like a list. I have this checkbox, and then check, 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 and that's what I'm doing with the kids as well. Okay, you have to do this, and then that homework, and after homework, your books, after books, dinner, after dinner, sports activities, and there's no pause. I need to pause. So now and then, stop. Don't put a step. Think. Let the moment come. Embrace it. The quietness. Think about it. Zen a bit. And then go to the next step. The other day, I told my son, oh, wow, that's good, but maybe this and that. He's like, Mom, baby steps. Remember? I don't know how to do it, so baby steps, not big, giant steps. And I was like, oh, he is so right. So yes, a lot of work to do, but I shouldn't concentrate on a lot. I told her as well, I was frustrated because at one point I could talk to my husband and saying, okay, I feel this and I feel that. On the other hand, last weekend when he said it, I just walked away from it. Then I said, I was so angry. Why couldn't I face the discussion? Why couldn't I tell him, no, I think doing this is better than just at one place. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's just I cannot at that moment. It's too blurry and too full. And then I said, no. It's amazing how the mind works. Anyhow, yeah, feelings. Well, so we talked about it for an hour, and now I'm home. And I'm on my bed now thinking about it, and I was like, okay, yeah, I will see what I'll do about it, what I can change, and I shouldn't take giant steps either. Not being that, of course, ambition is okay, but not expecting too much, because the disappointment will be on the other side of the corner. So she says, you should be happy. I am very, very proud of you that you have, I've given her a couple of examples that you have done that. You couldn't have done it before. And now I see you are working on it. So yeah, that is why she said, that is why I can say we'll see each other mid-August, because before that she put me into her schedule because she knew what she saw, and she sensed the urgency, and now she says, you're going the right way. So yes, with confidence I can tell you I'll see you mid-August, because I know you'll do right. And she told me like 3 times, I am proud of you, what you've been doing. So maybe I should do that as well, give myself like, oh, you did well, honey. Even though I say it to myself, it doesn't matter. So yeah, that was it about feelings. And well, hope to talk to you next time again. Bye guys. Bye.